I usually have a pretty heavy breakfast, but right now I'm just having some tea, chai, and apples. That's because I had a super heavy dinner last night and it was also super late. So I slept late and then I woke up late and I just wanted to sleep in a little more. Anyway, I woke up and I did my morning pages in my bed. I love doing that. I just keep my journal at the side and I just like to wake up and write my morning pages. And now I'm going to start my week one. I am excited for these. I hope I finish this in the next, like, I don't know, 1 to 2 hours, so that I'm also like able to take notes. I mean, that's what I've been doing. I'm writing a lot of like notes in my book while I'm reading. It's more like studying and note taking. I'm gonna have tea and read this. It's so gloomy, and okay, I've tried filming this so many times, but okay, I don't care. So week one of the artist way is completely focused on understanding our blocks and the negative voices, the negative beliefs, where they come from, and how it starts from when we were kids. And most of us who wanted to get into like a creative career or do something creative, and we were discouraged because it's not a stable career, and we were encouraged to take up careers like being a doctor, lawyer, or engineer. And that's what I did. I did engineering, and I always loved painting as a hobby. And there are a lot of people who genuinely love their jobs, who genuinely love their corporate life and corporate world, but they also have like this creative hobby that they love doing. So I always thought that maybe I could be that person, but I always had this creative urge and this feeling inside that this is not for me. You know, we have been told to not be daydreamers, and that's exactly what we need to be. We should be daydreamers. She talks about protecting the artist child within us, and the artist in us is a child, and we have bombarded this child with so many doubts, so many negative beliefs, so many voices like you're not good enough, this isn't worth it. And she's mentioned like a list of all these negative beliefs, and I'm pretty sure there are going to be more. I mean, I have like 5 of these list of 20 negative things that she's mentioned. And even though I don't have these societal negative beliefs anymore, I don't care what society thinks of me, but I have these personal negative core beliefs that probably have come from family, friends, or past relationships. At the same time, these negative beliefs are just beliefs, and when we come to a point where we are aware of these negative beliefs, we can turn them into positive thoughts. For example, I always thought that I'm not an artist because I don't have like a art background, or I'm not a born artist, I don't have any born talent, that I'm not exposed to the world of art. That means I will never be able to be an artist. She literally mentions this in the negative beliefs, where one of the thing is that artists are born, not made. Like, this is the negative belief, and the positive alternative is that artists can be discovered and recovered. So why can't we think of ourselves as artists that can be discovered? And in order to be discovered, you have to create a lot. You have to keep showing up, you have to keep showing your work and create more opportunities for yourself, because this is like a tunnel of opportunities that you end up getting. To become unblocked, we must recognize our either or thinking. Example, I can either be financially successful or an artist. We need to get rid of this either or thinking. It is quite possible to be an artist and be financially successful, and there are so many people out there living this reality. Our fears can sometimes be so small and silly that we don't even acknowledge it, thinking it's so silly, and that exact silly fear stays as a block. For the longest time, when I started painting, I knew I'm a beginner, I knew I am just learning and I'm just starting out, and it is so silly for me to compare to other artists or other artworks. I knew it's silly, and because I knew it's silly, I never acknowledged it. And because I never acknowledged it, I just subconsciously ended up comparing myself to everyone. I still sometimes find myself comparing, but now that I'm a little bit aware, I can turn these thoughts into something positive. I don't know how much you believe in affirmations, because this is what this entire chapter is about. I love that she says this one thing, that you don't get embarrassed or you don't find it uncomfortable when you think negative thoughts. So why are we so uncomfortable and why do we feel so embarrassed and so silly for having these positive affirmations or positive thoughts? And whatever thoughts you repeat becomes your reality. So this is something that she mentions about affirmations, and I wrote like a flow chart of it. Pick an affirmation, write it 10 times. There will be a point where your negative voice will start objecting your affirmation or your words. Now, these objections are called as blurs, which are nothing but your negative voice. These blurs flag your personal negative core beliefs. They'll be like this inner voices that telling you, who do you think you are? You're not worth it. And the patterns that have happened in the past, they are still going to happen again. And you've tried this before and you've failed before. So what makes you think you're going to succeed now? So these are all these negative voices which are called blurs. Make a list of your personal blurs. So when you write this affirmation, there will be these negative voices that will come up and you can make a list of them. Scan your past for origins and sources, where these come from. Where are these negative voices coming from? What are the triggers? And where did this core negative belief come from? Who could have said this? When did this happen? I mean, this is how the affirmations work. It's not just about chanting the positive things or positive affirmations, but it's actually going deep within yourself and understanding why these core negative beliefs actually came up. What was the situation that made you think? What is the trigger? When you're so aware of your own triggers, that's when you can actually shift that negative belief into a positive thought. I also love these creative affirmations, and I made a few affirmations for myself, just writing them down. And for this week, I have like 10 tasks to do. I am at least going to try to do like 6. One task is every morning do your morning pages, and I've been doing that. The second is take yourself on an artist date, and there are like a few things that I need to sit and reflect on. I love this question, the imaginary lives. If you had 5 other lives to lead, what would you do in each of them? And I think I'm going to like just tell you when I reflect on this. One of the biggest tasks for this while doing the morning pages is working with affirmations and blurs and turn these negative voices into an affirmative positive. For my artist date, I really wanted to go for a walk, but it has been raining continuously, so I don't think I'll be able to do that. I'll just figure out what I can do at home. Maybe make something, cook something. I'm also thinking that I'll make a list of artist date ideas because I don't want to get up each week and just be clueless as to what I can do. So I'll also share the artist date ideas here. So if anyone is watching this or doing this with me, they'll hopefully it will be helpful. I'm going to try to do these tasks, at least a few this week. And there's also check-in, which is a check-in every week. So I'm thinking I'll do this check-in every Sunday and just see if I did my morning pages, artist day, tasks, and if there were a few things that came up. Okay, thanks. Bye. It's a Sunday, it's August 2nd, and let's do a check-in of my week 1 of Artist Week. Week 1 of Artist Way. Okay, there's like a check-in section at the back of at the end of every chapter, and the check-in questions are basically like how many days did you do your morning pages this week, and did you do your artist days date this week. So let me look at the tasks first. So there were 10 tasks, and I think I did like 6 of them, which is absolutely okay. I mean, even she suggests that we should do maybe like 50% of the tasks, and I'm okay with doing 6 out of 10. So the first task was every morning set your clock 1/2 hour early and get up and write your morning pages. Basically, to get into the habit of writing morning pages, I wrote my morning pages 6 times out of 7 this week. I missed one day. Also, I wrote my morning pages, I think one day at night, because I had to rush for some work. So I couldn't wake up in the morning, like wake up early in the morning and write my morning pages. Also, there was one day where I wrote my morning pages in the afternoon. So I think that's okay for at least the start of the process. As long as I'm writing something and I'm journaling something, I think I'm okay. I started writing in this journal in January of this year, since I was not into the habit of writing my morning pages or journaling every single day, which I want to do. I finally finished this journal last month. So the last entry I have here is of, yeah, it's July 29th. I started a new journal. So I actually made this journal and I'm going to be restocking them soon with new designs. I realized that I don't like writing in like ruled or bullet, what do you call them, dotted journal, bullet dotted journal. I love plain pages. Okay, I love unruled. I don't want anything on it. I feel like I'm a lot more freer like that. Like I can literally doodle on this page or I can write whatever. I can write big handwriting, I can write in a small handwriting. Also, I realized that I like writing in like good quality paper. The first task also included be sure to work with your affirmations of choice and your blurts at the end of each day's morning pages. And I did this. Negative voices that came up when I was writing my affirmations, and I didn't even have to write like 10 affirmations like she suggested, like 10 times. I started writing like one or two times, and I knew that I'm feeling a little weird and uncomfortable, and this affirmation is like something that I'm not able to accept, and there is a reason that I'm not able to accept. And I just started writing down, like, why am I feeling this? And it just made me realize a few things. It took me back to some kind of situation where, someone said something to me, and that just became kind of like a trigger point. Second task is take yourself on an artist date. I haven't done my artist date yet. I actually wanted to go on a walk, but it has been raining heavily here, so I can't do that. Also, the 10th task is to take your artist for a walk. So I thought I could just like merge them together and do this second artist date. So I just looked up like a few ideas on what I can do for my artist date, like just artist date ideas that people have shared online. I saw this one idea of learning origami, and I learned origami last year in December when I went for my art retreat, and I have not touched an origami paper, and I haven't made anything after that. So I would really love, I was just so focused on all the folds. According to science, origami is a good way of managing your anxiety. I mean, it's just a good activity to keep your brain focused on one thing and not be distracted by 10,000 other things. And I would also like to just replace my phone usage by any activity possible. I don't mind doing that. Like I already read books, I already like sketch whenever. So I'm going to do my artist date after this. The third task was to time travel. List 3 old enemies of your creative self-worth. Be as specific as possible in doing this exercise. I ended up writing 4, and she also says that more monsters will come to you as you work through your recovery, and I've already wrote 4 of them. I would love to share, it is a little personal, but I would love to share that one of these old enemies of my creative self-worth was a friend who is not a close friend of mine anymore. Like, he was a very realistic person. He would like criticize a lot, and because he was a close friend, I would just take it to my heart. Another person was my drawing teacher. So I've had a few drawing teachers in the past when I was a kid. There was this one drawing teacher who sort of laughed at my drawing. I drew a portrait, not a portrait, like a human figure, and there were like other students sitting around, and he just started laughing, and he was like, okay, this doesn't look like a human figure. And I really felt embarrassed, and I felt like, oh my god, what am I even doing here? Like, I don't even know how to draw a human figure. And like, honestly, how can a teacher laugh at you? I'm just learning, I'm a beginner. That kind of hurt me a lot, is what I realized. I mean, even the last time I did this exercise in 2023, I wrote that memory down. The fourth exercise was select and write out one horror story from your monster hall of fame. Now, since I wrote 4 monsters, I wrote like one story, but I'm pretty sure there are a lot of stories. Now that I do this very often, I keep going back to my old stories. I mean, I don't keep going back to them, but I know what triggers me or if someone said something to me, I know why I felt bad, or I know why it made me angry. And even if I don't know at the moment, I'll just like sit and reflect on the fact that, okay, why did I get so pissed off at that person? Because he said something to me. And I try to like go down into my past, and I just try to understand why I got pissed. Write a letter to the editor in your defense. I did not do this exercise. Maybe I will. I don't know. There's three old champions of your creative self-worth. Now I clearly remember the last time I was doing this exercise in 2023. Like I couldn't think of any champions, who were wishing me well for my creativity. Or maybe I just didn't talk about my creativity a lot to people. I had to think about this task a lot, but this time there are more than three. There are so many, and I feel like I've just been a lot more in the gratitude phase, where I'm just very very grateful for all the people who are supporting me in any way they can. Like, for example, take my parents. They don't understand what I do, they don't understand my art, they don't understand the world of social media, but they still support me. They are like my champions. It was very easy for me to list my old champions. Select and write out one happy piece of encouragement. Write a thank you letter. I did not do this exercise. I don't know if I would have time to do this today. I really love this one. It's imaginary lives. If you had 5 other lives to lead, what would you do in each of them? The funny thing is, the last time I did this, I wrote painter or an artist as my imaginary life, and I am actually living that life now, which is insane. I also wrote that I wanted to make a YouTube video. Like I wanted to be a YouTuber. In another life, I'm documenting this. I'm living this artist life and I'm documenting my artist life on YouTube. And that's what I have started doing. So it's just crazy. So when I was writing these imaginary lives now, I would love to share that. One is I would be a pianist. I've always loved playing piano. I did learn when I was a kid, but I just stopped playing after that. But I just imagine myself with like this the big piano and just me playing that somewhere. I don't know. Okay, it just feels very French to me. Okay, another is a drummer. I would love to like learn drums. I never had this thing of learning drums when I was like growing up, but it's just been this new thing that I want to learn since the past 2-3 years maybe. Another is I would love to be a horse rider. I really want to learn horse riding. I would love to like live in a countryside area. Now, I don't think there's like a countryside in India, but I would love to like just have a lot of horses and learn horse riding and live that farm life. Ninth one is in working with affirmations and bloods. Very often injuries and monsters swim back to us. Add these to your list as they occur to you. Work with each blood individually and turn each negative into an affirmative positive. Now, I kind of did these while writing my morning pages. So whenever I was getting these kind of negative voices or blurs in my head, I was just trying to understand why and from where they are coming to me, and I was just like turning each negative into an affirmative positive. And the 10th one is take your artist for a walk, which I couldn't. Okay, I think overall I've had a good week. Check in. How did I feel this week? Most importantly, because when I was writing about these negative voices or negative thoughts while writing my affirmations and things that I want to do and things that I want in my life, I realized that I stopped judging myself, which is really amazing for me. Whenever I've had these negative thoughts, or I know that this I'm feeling this way because of something, I've always kind of judged myself, I've always criticized myself for feeling that way, or for things that happened in the past, or for not standing up for myself in certain situations. I've just kind of felt very angry at myself. Sometimes I've felt guilty, but I realized that I've just been writing things, like, and that's, I feel, the entire point of morning pages is to just write things out and to get it on the paper. Most important thing is to not judge yourself. Be open, and I was extremely like open-minded, open-hearted, with compassion. It's as if a friend, a very dear friend of yours, telling you all these things, that you wouldn't like be angry or criticize your best friend, right? Like you wouldn't criticize a loved one. You would try to understand with the maximum amount of compassion as you can, and you would just like be so gentle with that person and try to tell them that it happened in the past and it's okay, because past is past, and now that you have realized it, that this has happened in the past and that is the reason why you have been acting a certain way, it's such a great thing that you're learning something from it, and this is what like you would tell your loved one. So it's the exact thing that you need to tell yourself when all these negative things come up. You can't judge yourself, and I think that's the most important thing I did last week. Even though things were coming up, I was not judging myself. I'm now going to do my artist date and just make some things from origami paper. I don't have origami paper, and I was checking origami papers on Blinkit, but I absolutely hate the colors. They are too neon and bright for me. So I'm just going to cut a few papers that I have, like they're just colored craft papers, and I'm just going to try to sit and learn origami and even try to recall a few things that I made in December. You know why I want to learn origami is because I want to like just make flowers or cute little swans and just give it to my friends whenever I'm out, or just give it to strangers. That will be so cute. Okay, I think I will see you in my week 2. I'm going to be reading week 2 tomorrow morning. Yeah, I can finish these many pages tomorrow. Okay.